warriors. Living and surviving are two different things.
Hello, my life warriors. It's me, Shar, your favorite corporate life coach. And of course, as always, I have a treat for you today. We are talking to the most amazing person ever, Johana Desir. She is a revenue cycle management consultant. We're going to learn all about that. But most importantly, where I saw Johana that she resonated with me so much was via her Cup of Joe talks that she does on Facebook. This is a woman of faith. She's in the ministry. I can't wait for all the gems that she's going to drop today, because you do know we are all about empowering you and motivating you and giving you hope again. So Johana is here to do just that. Let's give her a warm welcome like we do, my life warriors. Welcome. Hey.
Hi, Char. How are you?
Friend.
Cool. Thank you for having me. What an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
No, listen, I am just combing the world for souls, souls that make me feel good, souls that resonate with me, because that's what's needed right now, right? It's right. All about just continuing to motivate the masses any which way. And hello, Scotty.
Hi,
Scotty. He sent me your page, your profile, and was like, oh, this is someone you should talk to. And I was like, so I started, I connected with you. I started watching your stuff, and I was like, okay, I got to get her on, because this is exactly what I'm trying to do on a daily basis. It's just to bring information and to the
Absolutely.
world.
Well, it is my honor, and lay it on me.
Yes. So first and foremost, we want to get to know you a little bit. I know you're in the revenue cycle management business. You're a consultant, which means you're working for yourself, right?
Yes. I am self-employed. I've been consulting since 2015.
Oh, wow.
And recently in the IV infusion world as of 2 years ago, but been consulting for about 5-6 years now. And
wow.
You have your ups, you have your downs.
Yes.
But for the most part, I do love what I do.
That's it. That's key. So how did you make it through COVID? Was everything okay with COVID? And
during COVID, I was actually with the IV infusion company. I was working with them, and they actually sent us home. So I was actually able to work from home during COVID, because technically we were considered essential workers, because there was so much changing in the world of insurance, adjusting to now billing for codes we'd never billed before. And so technically, even though a lot of billers, coders, collectors weren't on the front line, a lot of them were still working at home.
Yeah.
And so because the hospital claims, center claim, medical center claims are all over the map. So you actually needed the professionals that no one ever see behind the scenes to actually keep working. Right. So I'd say that my entire team at the time, we worked throughout COVID. We worked from home.
Wow. Well, good for you. Yeah. Well, for people that don't know, what is revenue cycle management? I know I'm from the healthcare world. Myself, I spent 15 years of my career in HR.
Nice.
And my last company, which is where I met Scott before I started my own business, was in behavioral health.
Awesome.
I am well aware. Just so you know.
Yes. So revenue cycle management is the easiest way I like to explain to people is in the healthcare world. Anyone who works in rev cycle is the people responsible for the gross revenue. So we bring the money, the gross revenue. We are before the accountant, the CFO, and all of those CPAs get the money to the net.
Yeah.
So it's all the money that's coming in by way of third-party payers. And when I say third-party payers, I mean if you're holding your Blue Cross Blue Shield card or your Aetna card or your Cigna card, those are the payor. They pay for when you go to the doctor. My job is to make sure it's collected, it's coded, it's billed appropriately, bring that money in, as well as your portion as a patient or as a client, what your responsibility is, match that, and then pass it down to the CFOs and accountants of the world. Nice. And so it takes a whole entire village, a whole entire team to make that work. There are about 8, if not 10 different specific area that makes up a rev cycle. Mm-hmm. So I've been from executive director to manager of rev cycle for both hospital, inpatient, outpatient, medical centers, and as well as, regular physician, office visit physicians. Wow. And so my experience is very broad. I have 20 years experience in it. I've done multiple specialties from ENT, ear, nose, and throat, from pediatrics, IV infusion, most recently, plastic surgery, believe it or not, oncology. But the bulk of my experience, like you mentioned, that's how we know Scotty, was in behavioral health, mental health, addiction, and mental health, inpatient and outpatient. I spent 10 years in that particular field.
Wow. So you started when you was like 10? 20 years. Hello. When exactly did you start? Oh my goodness. No, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Whatever year that was.
Whatever year that was.
We won't talk about it, but you look great. So, okay, that just so you know, I think your job is one of the most important jobs in the healthcare field.
It is. If the money don't come in, it doesn't matter what it looks like. Nothing works.
Your department, from all I can remember, is we had to make HR didn't really bother you guys. It was like, leave them alone.
Funny enough, HR was one of my closest department I work well with because they understood me. I understood them. They're like, she needs somebody. Let's find her a talent right now. Like, get on it.
Right. Yes. No, seriously, we left. You were off limits, really, because at the end of the day, it is a tough job. And
it really is.
It also is a very important job. And it's so like that if it's not done right, we could end up in a lot of trouble.
Yes. State regulation, like there's so many things that goes along with that money coming through the door. Right. Your physician being credentialed correctly, their licensure is up to date, their liabilities insurance up to date, the facilities licensure, state compliance, all of that falls under revenue cycle. And so you really have to know your stuff and stay on top of it because the rules change every year. So every year, as a matter of fact, towards the end of right now, is season for things to start changing. Like Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services publishes all of their updated codes, all of their updated regulation for next year. So if you're a good rev cycle person, you start prepping now for the change that are going to come about come 1/1/2022. So you don't wait till 1/1/2022. You look them up right now so you can start prepping your staff for when the change happen. And so you have to stay on top of all of that in order for you to make your company make money. Or if you're working with hospitals, in order for that money to stay. Right. And so that's why my job is to make sure the money comes in and it stays so you don't get audited.
Yes, we don't like that. Mm-hmm. So just shifting gears just a little bit, how did you get started with just being a consultant? What led you to that? What was the push?
Well, this is the part where I'm going to inspire. Probably, I love telling that story, and I'm going to inspire a woman. The push was actually a push. I was working for a major behavioral healthcare company in Nashville, Tennessee. I'd worked for them. I'd worked for the owner twice, his previous company, and then this new company. And I was there right about close to 3 years. I was about to hit my 3-year mark, and I know my stuff, and it's not bragging. It's not false humility. It's just the truth. 20 years into it, I've done every role in rev cycle. I started, I tell people I'm the definition of starting from the bottom and work my way up. My first job in it was front desk reception. Okay. Like that was me. So and then to the back end, working one-on-one with a CFO and crunching numbers for board meetings. So I've done everything in between. So I know my stuff, right? And so when I start getting questioning, about what I'm doing, and when I'm like, no, we're doing it right, like something's wrong, and kind of being muzzled because, it was about making the numbers look good. And I'm like, well, when you're working in rev cycle and you work with insurance, that's not going to last long because they're going to come knocking. Yeah. There's rules and regulation. These insurance have 7 to 10 years to come and look at your stuff. And so you may think you're getting away with it in 2021. 2027, they may come knocking for something you did in 2021. And so my name will not be attached to anything that is not on the up and up. And so But at the same time, the thought of working for myself never came up. And so, but at the same time, I'm very vocal, right? I'm not going to put my staff in compromising situations. So let's just say I was offered a nice severance package when what I kept saying was not working. I accepted it. I made my way out. And a friend who knew what had just happened reached out and said, hey, there's an adolescent program that just got audited by Blue Cross Blue Shield. And they're asking for about $2 million back. Can you go help them out? Because they don't know what happened.
That's a big job. That's
a huge job. Can you, and mind you, this would have been my first client ever. First of all, the first time I used the word client, so ever. Okay. And so I was like, right. So I was like, okay, I could do this. I remember calling another friend. I was like, okay, I need you to write me a template for a contract. How do I do a contract? I'm self-employed. Like what, like I had no idea whatsoever.
Wow.
I remember flying out, landing the job, helping them. I think we whittled it down from 2 million. I think we whittled it down to a couple of 100,000 that had to be given back, which was a huge victory when you're dealing with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I was like, oh, I like this. I made up my own hours, the satisfaction of doing a job well done, of, that empowered me. And then word of mouth. And somebody else said, oh my gosh, Johana just helped us kick Blue Cross Blue Shield's butt. You need to call her. And it's literally been word of mouth. People would be surprised. I don't have a website. I think I have a Facebook page that I barely check. And then my LinkedIn profile. And it's really just been word of mouth. And so I tell my clients all the time, I've turned down $250,000 jobs with big behavioral health in California, which I know you know of.
Yes.
Because I always tell my client, my reputation is the most important thing to me.
Most important thing. You can't get that back.
Particularly as a Black woman in a space that don't have too many of people that look like me. And so I refuse to compromise just to make books look good or make money look good or make bonus or anything like that. And so it has helped and it has hurt, but the time it has hurt is because it was not the gig for me.
Right.
It was not the gig for me. And so I've been doing it since then. I've been doing it since late 2015. And it's been, I've had small jobs, I've had big jobs. But the most important thing is knowing that I'm doing something, 1, that I love, 2, that I see results, 3, that I'm not compromising on what is the right thing to do. That's my driving factor. This is the right thing to do. And if you listen to me and if you adhere to these things that I'm putting, those SOPs and processing procedures that I'm giving you, you not only are going to thrive in your business, you will make money, but you will keep the states and the payers off of you because your books will be clean. If I do that, then I do my job.
Right. I love it. I think, you said, I took so many notes just now in that show. I didn't want to forget.
Right.
One of the things at this point I want to make that I recognize what happened to you was that what I call the purpose-driven push, because you said, they offered me a severance. They took it and you didn't have a game plan, right? And next, so they kind of pushed you. You didn't know what was next and you wasn't even sure it was entrepreneurship. No. All you know is you said, okay, thank you. I'm going to move on. Yes. And then you get a call out of nowhere. So the resources came to you that pushed you right into entrepreneurship. So you are definitely meant to be doing what you're doing right now. Because
I agree.
You are someone that was blessed right out the gate.
Yes. And I remember the drive home. What's his name? Song was playing in the radio. Be still and know that I am God. I suffer whenever I'm a planner. I'm an organizer. To be in Rev Cycle, you have to be a planner. Like I said, I plan 3 months ahead for next year. And so so because of that, I suffer from a little bit of anxiety when I don't have control of something, when I don't know what's next and things like that. That day I had, like you said, I had no plan. I had no plan B. I didn't know if I was just going to dust off my resume and find the next job, entrepreneurship. But there was a calm, there was a peace, there was just, I was like, thank you. Like, I didn't even grab my stuff. I was like, can you guys just put it in a box?
I'm gone.
I'm out. And then a few weeks later, I kid you not, it probably happened within maybe 14 to 18 days later. Wow. I get this call. And by November, before Thanksgiving, I was in a plane heading over to meet my first client.
Wow. So listen, similar story. Like, I too got a severance. That was my push as well. Like, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do with my severance. Versus me going back in corporate America, I'm going to take this time to try to build my business. Yes. And that's what I did in 2018. And look, I'm still standing.
Exactly. And that was the same thing. Yeah, it was the same thing. It was that purpose-driven push that, and I love it. Yeah, and I love it. Like, I love what I do. I love, I have a small client right now in Tennessee, in East Tennessee. He'd been struggling with passing his state audit. And I work with him, since January, and then he got it in April. He's a single provider, solo practice, in a small town, in a rural town. And here's this big city girl coming and helping him. And then he was so excited. He passed his audit. He was like, it's the first time I didn't have a ding.
Wow.
And that satisfaction was like, oh man, like great. I'm happy for you.
Go you.
Yeah. So I'm excited. That's what brings job satisfaction. And and I've been doing it, and I love it. I absolutely love what I do.
You're very energized about it.
People say you are the only person I know who speaks about insurance and billing and collection with enthusiasm.
Yeah. Like I would have to agree. She's like, yes. And I love it. I love it all. And I love the story. I have one other question about the severance piece. Only because oftentimes, just from an HR standpoint, when people are being offered a severance to leave versus them resigning and saying, I'm done, they feel a way. And especially us women of color, we're like, this is either we take it as embarrassment. I was let go. I was not wanted. A lot of stuff goes on in our heads. How did you feel when you got that severance offer? How did you receive that?
Because the environment, and I know right now there's this whole energy and vibe, and if an environment is not good for your mental health, remove yourself, but I think that's more becoming a trend now. But I had the environment was starting to be toxic for me, to be honest. And so when the severance was like, I knew what was happening, and I literally just negotiated my severance. I was like, I put in work here. I left, to be quite honest, there's a lot of proprietary information that I came up with and created that they're still benefiting from.
Right.
And so I made sure I was at least going to be able to take care of my family for the next 90 days. Right. And so that's what I did. I made sure I was at least my insurance, the severance, the language. I didn't want no non-compete, because revenue cycle is my life. And so I need to go back, if I needed to work, I needed to be able to work. And so instead of letting emotion of feeling rejected, like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing, I put on a strategic hat.
Love it.
I put on my strategic hat to protect myself, to protect my reputation, to be able to take care of my family. And I was able to stay focused on that. Now, later on, like maybe I think 3 days later, I had a mini panic attack because we had just closed on our home.
Oh, wow.
We had just closed on our home, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And my husband would have no issue me saying this. I've always made more money than my husband. He's more of an artist and, in the faith and things like that. And that's a choice we made as a couple. And so a little bit, again, because I'm such a planner and organizer and a type A. So I had a small panic attack in the middle of the night, like 3 or 4 days later. But then I remember, okay, calm down. You're skilled. You're talented. This too shall pass. And then, like I said, within a couple of weeks, I got a call out of the blue, and I was pushed into what I was meant to be doing. And so I think that's what we as women, particularly women and Black women, the feeling of rejection, don't let your emotions get the best of you, because then you can't think strategically, right? You leave the table saying, oh man, I wish I could have said this. I wish I could have gotten this. But it's because you were being driven by your emotions. And so you were clouded and you couldn't think clearly. So that's the advice I would give. Put your strategic hat on, then you could have a meltdown later on.
Speaking of that, my life warriors, I'm glad she said that, because TD Jakes has this amazing quote that still resonates with me around emotions. And he said, do not make a permanent decision based off of a temporary emotion.
Correct. And rejection is a temporary, because it's never about you. It's not about you. It's about the other party. I knew that. And so I refused to go into that HR room feeling so rejected and let my emotion get the best of me. I walked in, I was like, I knew what this is. As a matter of fact, since you're in the HR person was crying.
Oh, I know it's hard when we actually know someone is like doing good work and you have to be the one to deliver the news. It's very, very hard.
She was crying. I was like, it's okay, breathe. Like I was calming her.
I
was like, it's gonna be okay. Breathe. Like, let me read this. Like, I was like, I'm okay. Like, I promise you, I'm okay. And so she stayed in touch with me for a few months afterwards. She was like, you were such a professional. Like, you are amazing. Like I said, I had a meltdown afterwards, but right then and there, I knew I had to take care of me and then what the next step is going to look like for my family. So I was able to compartmentalize my emotions at that moment. So it's definitely key.
It most certainly is. And you know what, at the end of the day, I love what you said. Know your worth. Like, Johana went in there and negotiated a severance. She was like, let me give you my bullets. That's important. If you're not keeping track of your success, no one else is.
Yeah, so, and I didn't sign that day. You got it. I took it with me. I was like, I think they gave me 14 days. I was like, yep, I'll take it with me. I looked at the points, whether it was like everything was right. I looked at the points. I took it with me. I had my husband reviewed it a couple of days and we slept on it. And I didn't get it back to them until I think day 6.
Okay. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. And just taking another shift right now, because I know you brought up your husband. He's a man in ministry. You are going to soon be a first lady, a pastor's wife.
I know.
What are the emotions surrounding that? Because woo!
I know. Actually,
you have to wear hats now, like hats and.
It's funny you said that. I just bought a beautiful fedora hat. It just came in the mail today.
Listen, every first lady has to have that hat. I am sorry. You guys are known for the hat. I'm just saying.
It's funny you said that. Well, a friend of mine texted me earlier, and this is what I told him. I was like, I am so happy for my husband because we've been married 23 years. So we got married when we were 3. We've been married 23 years, and he's been such a hard worker and a provider for our family, for our daughter, and for me and my corporate goals. He's always been that man behind that woman. He knows I'm a corporate woman. He knows I'm an entrepreneur. He loves when I talk about insurance. He's like, you're just so passionate about it. Like, he just loves it. And so I'm doing what I love. And for the first time in a very, very long time, watching him be obedient and stepping into his calling and seeing him come alive is kind of like watching you drop a kid at FAO Schwartz, right? Yeah. And they're just like, oh, yay. And so I am happy to see, I'm happy for me, but I'm happy to reciprocate that support that my husband has always given me, like to see him. And so I told him, my job is going to be to stand by you, to watch God move through you. And if that's in the step of first lady, then let it be. So I'm excited for this journey. I'm a girlfriend of mine called me. They're like, girl, I think the first lady world is not ready for you. You are
not. Like, listen, if she's anything like Miss Corporate here, woo, the church is about to be shaken up. With the hat, while she's wearing the hat, people.
Exactly. Gotta have the hat. But no, I'm excited for it. My husband has already dubbed me First Lady Joe.
Lady Joe.
Yeah, he's already dubbed me First Lady Joe. And I'm like, well, it's perfect because I do my show, A Cup of Joe with Joe. So I could say First Lady Joe, A Cup of Joe with Joe. So
you could have group talk.
I know. So it's all working out for the better, but we're excited. I really am. The church is a growing church. It had some growing pains, a couple of, it lost a few members. And so it's going to be restarting, and seeing my husband. I mean, he is literally overjoyed.
Well, you got to share the links when he starts to preach live.
We will. We're working with the team right now to rebuild the website, the Facebook pages, the social media pages. And so we're in the transition of doing that. So he officially becomes the, campus pastor of that church the Sunday before Labor Day. That's when they're doing the formal ceremony and whatnot. Ooh. And by October, he fully is in his role. So we're excited. I'll still have a hub here in Nashville for my career, and we'll make it work. And people say, well, how are you going to do that? I said, well, I've always traveled. In the last 5 years working as a consultant, I've traveled. I've gone to small town as small as Opelousas, Louisiana, as big as West Palm, Florida, Nashville, LA, Palm Springs, right. Dallas. What I do, that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur and working for yourself. You dictate what that looks like.
And you can work from anywhere, right?
Exactly. And so we're definitely going to make it work. 23 years into this, we're both doing what we love. Our daughter, our one and only baby girl, is in college. And so we feel like this is the time that God is asking to stretch us in these different areas. And I also believe, I say it all the time, as a first lady, I don't think that's going to change. I'm a marketplace minister. I am not a pulpit minister. And when I say marketplace, I minister through my daily touch with people.
Yes.
I don't
call it marketplace, and I'm one too.
Yeah. I'm a marketplace minister. I will grab a coffee. Let's pray. Let's talk. Let me help you write that business plan. Let me help you pass that real estate test. Let me help you like that. I'm more in that one-on-one touch. And I don't think that's going to change just because I'm a first lady now. If anything, I think it's now giving me more opportunity to speak life into those women in the church who are looking for their identity, who's looking for, okay, what do I do now? Right. Now that I've had this life change, like what do I do? And so that was me. That was my journey. And God has used authentically who he created me to be in this position now. So I don't think he's looking for me to change. No. Right. And so
absolutely not. He wants.
Yes, I'm excited about that. So I said, I'm still going to do my marketplace ministry. If anything, I'm going to try to merge both, bring the women out of the church to a whole different world, to let them know that you can speak and preach the gospel by just the way you behave in your place of work, and the way you do your work with integrity and with truth and with honesty and all of that. That's how people say, okay, there's something different about you. I have friends who are not Christian. One of my very best friends who lives in London, she doesn't come from a Christian background. And she said, if Christianity is who your life is, Joe, then I want this and I've done it for 10 years. Woo! She was like, you preach what you do. She was like, I watch your life, right? And that, to me, that's the biggest testimony ever.
Wow.
And she was like, you are just like this is who you are. You love on people. You don't judge people. You welcome all kind of people, but you just authentic to your faith, and that's the beauty of it, and so that I don't think that's going to change.
No, I love it. Oh my goodness. I knew this conversation was going to blow me away. I knew that you were going to just give a lot of gems to our life warriors out there, because that's what we are. As long as you're living and your eyes pop open every day, it's another trip around the sun each day. So I would just want everyone to just, learn from Johana's story, be inspired by her story. There's nothing comes easy, my life warriors. And sometimes we often have to take some of our experiences especially the negative ones, and reframe it and turn it into a positive one and understand how it connects to the next step.
That connection. Yeah, that connection is the next. And so I was you mentioned steps. So every morning after I do my prayer, my meditation, I literally say this to myself: one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, one day at a time.
Yeah.
So no matter what I'm going through.
Right. Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Yes. Just yes or no answers. Do you have a vision board?
Do I have a vision board? Yes, but it's in my daily planner that I walk around with every day. So it's in my bag with me every day. I have that.
Nice. Do you have a morning routine?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I do my Bible reading and I do I use my meditation app and I take my moment. It's about, depending on my busy day, it could go from 30 minutes to about 7.5, 8 minutes. I time it.
Yeah. Very nice. Because those two things I ask, because it is so important. Like, have the vision doesn't mean you have to jump right to the vision, but just to have a vision, because that's what directs your steps, right?
Yes.
And then having a morning routine. I'm a big believer on how you start your day is how your day is going to go.
Right. Absolutely. I 100%. There are times where I miss either the night before, I didn't sleep well, or something just discouraged me and I didn't go through my normal morning routine. I find the biggest thing is my brain is foggy.
Yeah.
Like I can't find clarity. I can't find motivation. And as a self-employed entrepreneur, self-motivation is huge. Like if you don't get up, you don't eat. If you don't get up and go out there. And so, but what I do notice is once you put that energy out there, it comes back to you. Mm-hmm. So after I do my morning routine, I quickly do all my emails, and then I set the tone. And then by the afternoon, things are coming back to me. And then I create that momentum by having that. And so it is very, truly very important. I think that's the reason why I'm still standing here, because 2 weeks ago, I was in Haiti during the earthquake.
I saw.
And then during the earthquake. And so it was so much going on. We got back that Monday through a tropical storm. It was storming the whole time. Then Tuesday morning, got on a plane again to drop our daughter to school in DC. So I've technically had maybe a good solid 2 days of rest. Yesterday was like, it's my first day back at home. I got to reach out to my clients. I got to do this. And I'm still going and motivated. And everybody's like, you haven't rested yet. I was like, yeah, I am going to take that time. But that's the thing. When you're self-motivated and you are task driven because you wrote the vision down, because you wrote the plan down. Right? It's not going to execute itself. You execute the plan. Right. And so I found my motivation from that. And so hubby and I, we do have plans. We're going to take a couple of days to shut down, to just be the two of us, do what we love and things like that. But at the same time, there's a goal, there's a vision, there's a plan. And because it is written down, I have to tick it off. Like tick, tick, tick. That actually is what gives me motivation. And then it's going to shut my brain down. Now I can relax and go, okay, I've done everything I can. Now it's about me. Right? I can't be about me if I have unfinished business yet. So, but doing those routine and sticking to that written plan is definitely a key to entrepreneurial life, self-employed life. It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
And with that being said, my life warriors, I know we could talk to Johana all day, but we have to let her get back to what she does. Thank you so much. I have to tell you, I'm inspired. I hope to have you back on soon.
Yes.
Lots of gems. Keep doing the Cup of Joe with Joe.
Yes. Thank you.
You're very inspirational. I'm watching. I'm on Facebook.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we're gonna come back in next season after everything is settled with the pastor and all of that. After all of that is settled,
let us see you in the hat.
I will add the hat as one of the key point in there.
Just saying. We have to represent.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right. And I'll be looking forward to that episode. But no, I look forward to it. Share everything, especially when his stuff goes live. And keep doing what you're doing in your community. in the corporate world as it pertains to revenue cycle management, staying true to yourself, not allowing corporate America to dim your light.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Key to everything, because, you know, I know that so firsthand so well what it means to dim your light. And thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. I'm so glad Scotty reached out to us and put us in touch. I have been watching your interviews as well. You are giving your audience, by having people like me and others on, you're showing your audience that they're not alone. And I think that's the biggest thing. Women feel like sometimes they're in some certain situation by themselves. No one has encountered it before.
Right.
And that's how you create this isolation and this feeling of rejection. And so the fact that you're bringing women to show them, babe, you're not alone. Women, my sisters, you are not alone. There's resource out there. There's people they've been through it. They're on the other side. You'll get through it and you'll be on the other side. So thank you for creating that platform so other women know they're not alone. So that is very inspirational and motivational. So thank you.
No, thank you for noticing. And with that being said, we're signing off, my life warriors. Until we meet again, it's your girl, Shar.